What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, here today to review and talk about one of the latest Arrow Video releases, The Hills Have Eyes in 4K. So I'm pretty sure this one it got delayed, but I'm pretty sure it's coming out on November the 23rd. So if you are interested in pre-ordering or purchasing based on my recommendation, I will be leaving the Amazon link for purchase in the description below. So, and also this one was sent to me by Arrow Video for review from MBD Entertainment. So I want to thank them for sending this to me to review and talk about this stunning Arrow Video release. God, they've been killing it all year. But yeah, guys, before we get into it, I want to ask that if you are not yet a subscriber, if you're new to the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button. I do all kinds of stuff on this channel, mostly centered around world of physical media, reviews like this, Blu-ray hunting videos, collection updates, just all kinds of physical media based content. Hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to like this video and comment your thoughts on the film The Hills Have Eyes. This release, if you purchased it from Arrow Video. Did you get the Blu-ray release that came out a few years ago? Let me know in that comment section below. So let's get right into this movie, guys. And as you guys know, if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, or if you're new, I'll explain to you how reviews kind of run around here. So basically, I've got notes written down, but it's really a lot of off-the-cuff, just like thoughts about both the movie, the transfer, the packaging, the special features. I like to cover everything in these reviews because, you know, it's not just about the technical specs and stuff like that, because I'm watching the movie, I want to talk about the movie. So getting into the movie itself, I'm a huge fan of the remake. I'm a huge fan of Alexander Aja's remake, The Hills Have Eyes, which I actually have on DVD. I don't have a Blu-ray copy of this one yet. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of this remake. Came out in 2006. I remember seeing it in theaters in 2006, and I'm like, wow, that was something. Like, that was an experience. It's very dark. It's very depressing. Goes in some really wild directions that you do not expect, that you're not used to seeing in films like this. Just like killing off of main characters, like right in the middle of the movie. I just never seen anything like it before. Just very gritty. It's definitely one of my favorite horror films from the 2000s period. So I have never seen The Hills Have Eyes. I've never seen the original. So coming at this from the perspective of seeing the remake and never seeing the original before, the only thing I can say right off the bat is this one's good. I don't like it as much as the remake. Which may be blasphemous to say. Wes Craven, horror master. This is what I would say is maybe his second like big mainstream feature. The first one being The Last House on the Left. I'm sure he did other films in there. I need to get more into the Wes Craven filmography for sure. But this is definitely, I would say, like his second like big hit, if you want to call that, The Hills Have Eyes. So I really like with this one. You know, it does a really good job just portraying like the isolation and desperation of this family, which if you don't know The Hills Have Eyes story, it's basically this family that's on vacation. They're out, they've got an RV, and they break down out in the middle of the desert, and then they're invaded by these feral people that come in from the hills, from the mountains, to try to, you know, scavenge for food and basically terrorize them. So it does a really good job of just, you know, stripping all of these characters, this family, away of all of their resources down to the bare bones and just making them have to fight for survival. You really feel that in this movie, much in the same way you do with the remake as well. The remake does a great job as well, but this just has that like old school 70s, like grungy, grimy, gritty just feel to it, almost like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You could tell like with this one, I think what Wes was trying to do a little bit is make his version, of course in his style. I'm not saying he copied Texas Chainsaw at all, but just like his version, just aesthetically, this movie just looks very similar to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and just how it just strips everything down to the bare bones of filmmaking itself, and just takes this approach and this very violent, very visceral, grimy just experience. So you know, the performances themselves are mostly good. You got Dee Wallace in this film, which is at this point pretty much a horror icon. Yes, she was the mom in E.T., but also in The Howling. She was in The Frighteners, 1996. Just tons of horror movies. Dee Wallace has been as well. I didn't realize she was in this movie until I got this release, actually, and seen her in the artwork on the back. So yeah, so the performances are mostly good. The only performance I would say was a little cringy. It kind of stood out to me. I didn't really enjoy was the son, the one with the gun right there, the one that was didn't want to tell anybody about the dog dying. He knew the dog died, and until later on in the film, and he's kind of crying about it. His performance isn't the best. I thought it was weird when he was just standing outside the car when Dee Wallace and her husband were getting it on, just kind of staring at him. They're like, "What do you want?" And it's like he's weird, and I didn't really like him as a character in the movie. Didn't think his performance was particularly good. Outside of him, everybody else does a really good job, just like really portraying the emotion of the events that happen. Then you got Berryman. You got I think his name is Michael Berryman. Yes, Michael Berryman, who is at this point kind of like a horror icon. Just has this real like distinct look to him. I don't want to be mean when I say it, but he does kind of look like a man that survived radiation for 10 years. So he does have that kind of, he's not deformed, but he just has this really unique look to him. It just kind of almost alien-like, kind of. I don't want to be mean when I'm describing Michael Berryman, but he just has this look to him that is very scary. So, of course, you put him in your film as like a mutant type character that survived radiation. And has lived in the mountains for years or whatever. But he's really good. He's iconic at this point, so it's always fun seeing him in a movie. He's been in a bunch of Rob Zombie movies, a bunch of horror movies of the 80s and stuff. So he's kind of like a horror icon, and he does a really good job in this movie. As far as my dislikes, really the only one I wrote down is it's just not as good as the remake. I really love the remake. I think that the remake takes a much more emotional and visceral approach to this material. Like it feels much more impactful when the moments happen. Like you just really feel the emotion of all the characters. They do that in this one too. Like the one scene that I remember, and this is really like beat for beat, like the remake. Like Alexander Aja did a really good job of adapting this movie, because it, like all the scenes I remember from the remake are present in the original. They just feel far more tamer, I guess, in the original, which is the original. You got to give it credit for being the first. I'm sure it was very groundbreaking and eventful and mind-blowing when everybody saw it back in 1977. But when you compare it to this remake, this just feels much more visceral and in-your-face in its approach to the material. And the scene I'm talking about is the cross burning scene, where they hang the father up on the cross and he's burning alive. And this one, it's just like much more in your face. He's screaming at the top of his lungs. You just feel him burning. You hear the flesh burning on it. It's so raw. And the mother's in this, she's screaming. Everybody's going crazy, in the RV. And that's the point of the movie. Like, and really, it has the same, it's like all set up the same, like the RV. The point of the movie where shit just really breaks down and goes nuts in that sequence where they're hanging the dad up and he's burning. They're fighting for their lives inside the RV. Dee Wallace's character and Vanessa Shaw in the remake. And then they get killed, and people, like main characters, get picked off. They get killed. It's really shocking. It's really eventful. It shocked me in the remake. And they do the exact same thing in the original. So I imagine it shocked everybody back then. It's hard for me to compare the two. I just think it's much more disturbing the way that Aja handled it in the remake. So as far as this movie, guys, it's a good movie. It's a very dark film. It's difficult to watch at times, even in the original and in the remake. So you got to be in that mood for just like a family being tortured and killed, and just like the emotion of it, the emotional weight that all the family has to carry throughout this movie, watching their family members get picked off by this feral group of mutants from the mountainside. So yeah, this is a good movie. It's a solid movie. I'll give this movie a 3.5 out of a 5. I'd probably give the remake like a 4 or 4.5. I really love the remake a lot. So it was an uphill battle for me to be able to pick this one over the remake. So getting into the transfer, this was shot on 16mm back in 1977. So it does have a much more raw, grittier transfer than you're used to seeing in other films. Again, if you're not into the grain, this has a lot of grain in it. In particular, the outside sequences, like right in the beginning, is really grain heavy. So and that grain structure is pretty consistent throughout. But I don't necessarily mind grain, because it does remind me that I'm watching a movie that was shot on film. So it doesn't necessarily bother me, but it is a very heavy, very thick grain structure throughout this transfer, which might turn off some people. As far as the HDR, the addition of the HDR in this makes it, feel a lot more colorful, a lot more vibrant. Like the contrast levels are much deeper, much blacker in this one. It's definitely the best this film has ever looked. I give the transfer very high marks It looks excellent. Aero Video always does such a good job, and it's no different here. Just from the materials they had to work with the 16 millimeter, I imagine it was kind of difficult to kind of port that over. And I think that they pulled it off just almost immaculately. I think it looks great. But again, if you're not a fan of the grain, you may be turned off by aspects of this transfer. So getting into the audio, excellent audio with this one. This does have original lossless mono audio, optional lossless 2.0 stereo, and 7.1 remixes on this one as well. But that one is only available, the 7.1 is only available with the original ending, because you do get two cuts to this movie. You get the original cut, and then you get the alternate ending cut to this one as well. And you also get the optional English subtitles. So no issues with the audio. Again, I'm just listening to it on soundbar, but it sounded very good. It's just very clear, very crisp. Getting into this packaging, I did an unboxing of this on the channel. Go check it out if you want the full look. But it's great packaging. I love the box set artwork right here, guys. I'll flip through the booklet a little bit, which I did all this in the unboxing. But, you know, if you don't want to go back and check out the full unboxing of it on the channel, you know, you can, I'll link that down below. But yeah, some good images in that booklet, and I'll show off the poster, which I didn't get a chance to do when I did the unboxing, because it's just hard to do it when it's all close up like that. Can I get this undone? That has the original poster, which I actually prefer the original poster to this one, because I like that image of Michael Berryman on the front. And then just like the RV and the broke down car down there, just the perfectly encapsulates, I'll get that word right, what this film is to me. And I love that poster. But the arrow work is really good as well, because you get Michael Berryman, you get the other, his partner in the movie as well. Everybody that played the mutants in this movie were really good at playing those mutants. So yeah, the poster is awesome. Like I said, I flipped the cover art of this one. It's got reversible. The arrow artwork's on the other side of this one, but I love this. I love that original poster artwork. I think it's great. So one of the rare cases where I do think it's better than the arrow artwork. But yeah, great packaging, special features on this, top notch. You get a 50-minute long documentary. I'm not sure when that was released. I believe it probably with the original Arrow Video version, because all of those special features were ported over to this 4K release from that original Arrow Blu-ray. But you get a 50-minute documentary, which I watched most of that one with Wes Craven, cast and crew. Dee Wallace is in that one, so it's a great special feature with that one. You get the 6 postcards in this set as well. I'll kind of show those off, and really cool back to those right there. But yeah, you get these postcards in the film. If you like postcards, you might like these. So I'll go ahead and put those in there. I'll show you the disc art as well while I got this open. Some cool disc art right there. But yeah, great special features. That 52-minute long documentary is really, really incredible. I'm trying to look at all the other ones right here. Audio commentaries with Michael Berryman, Janice Blythe, Susan Lanier, Martin Spear. Audio commentary by academic Michael J. Coven. Audio commentary with Wes Craven, Peter Locke. Looking Back on the Hills Have Eyes. That's the documentary. The 52. Yeah, so 3 audio commentaries, guys. You're getting interviews with composer Don Peake. You're getting interview with actor Martin Spear. So just all kinds of stuff with this one. Alternate ending, outtakes, trailers, TV spots, image galleries, original screenplay, reversible sleeve, just tons of stuff in this Arrow Video release. So if you don't already have that Blu-ray of The Hills Have Eyes like I don't, like this is a no-brainer. Like this is great special features all on the 4K disc, because this only has the 4K disc. It does not have the Blu-ray. That's another important thing to know with this one. So yeah, great special features, guys. The transfer is really good. Like I said, if you don't mind the grain, you'll really love it. You'll really enjoy it. Yeah, this is just a really top-notch release. Another top-notch release from Arrow Video that I highly recommend that you pick up. I actually don't think this one's too expensive either. I feel like it was going for like $27.99. It might be available right now in that Barnes & Noble sale as well. By the time I put this up, that'll still be going on. So with that, guys, we are done with this review of The Hills Have Eyes on 4K, released by Arrow Video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you purchased this based on my recommendation. I will be leaving the link down below in the description. Also, be sure to like this video, comment your thoughts on this film, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications for all of those future videos. See you guys later.